Hi there, guys and girls. It's me, Rob Stager, and I'm back with another video. This one's going to be based on a couple comments that I've had on my first video in the topic of getting more in touch with your character and developing it more. I will be taking this opportunity to start a new series under the name of Your First, and it's going to be for new players and people who want to get better at Dungeons & Dragons and role-playing in general. This video is going to be two parts because I think that the whole topic of getting in depth with your character has a lot of topics that need to be talked about. The backstory is fairly important for your character itself and for you to understand it more. Now, as a DM, I personally require most, if not all, of my characters to create a backstory. I use it as material and they use it to understand their character. Even if your DM doesn't require a backstory, it's helpful for you to create one anyways. Your backstory can give you important people in your character's life and situations that they have experienced, things that have shaped their personality and people who have influenced them throughout their life. And when you create these people and situations, think of how they have influenced your character's personality. Think of how they would use these situations and these people to make decisions in the future. Now, this backstory doesn't have to be super in-depth. It doesn't have to be in certain guidelines. It's like writing a story. Even just making a funny retelling of the character's childhood from their perspective, or making a third-person perspective of their whole life until a point where your character actually met everyone else in the party. A background is something that is in the rule set and can help you a lot creating your character itself. There are a set of backgrounds in the player's handbook that you can choose from to give to your character. Some DMs don't use these backgrounds. They have some in-game implications for roles and whatnot that you'll be able to use if they do, but otherwise you can use it as a jumping off point for your backstory itself. A background explains your past occupations and what you have focused on throughout your life. Now, a background comes with various proficiencies that you gain, impossible languages, and a group of items that you will receive for your background. For example, the Sage background, which is a person who studies a lot and has spent most of their life learning, receives Arcana and History proficiencies for the character. You are also able to learn 2 languages through this background, and this also reflects studying various topics, including the 2 languages that you have spent most of your life learning. You also get a group of items with your background, but another thing that is really helpful for you is the 4 charts that they have with each background. Now, these 4 charts correspond to the 4 aspects of a character that you can use to build who they are. They consist of personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. All 4 of these affect role-playing moments. They don't help you in combat at all, but they do give you a guide for how the character acts and how they may react in certain situations. Now, personality traits are aspects of the person which they experience in daily life and can affect how they interact and how they are seen by other people. Now, these can be quirks, likes and dislikes, habits, these things that the character does often. Ideals are values that drive the character themselves. Most of these come up in tough moments and big decisions in the character's life. A bond is connections to people and organizations and also things that you have done in the past that are really important to you. Now, a flaw is something that could cause you to go against your best interests or complicate the situation that you are in. These things can either make a situation go south or turn a conversation on its head. These things are mostly negative aspects of your character, and that's why they fall under the flaw category. Now, most of the time, these things are often overlooked during character creation because they take up a good amount of time to create, but they aren't impactful in combat or roles per se. They are, though, very helpful to look back on for your character's personality and who they are, and to use in role-playing situations. Now, these 4 aspects don't have to be followed to a T, and they may change as your character develops, but over time, they are really important for you to understand your character fully. These are helpful for new players because you can use them for aspects of your character that you have no idea what to place in. You don't necessarily necessarily need them to run your character, but they add an additional flavor to your character and how you play the game. From what I've noticed is that new players reflect themselves into their first character because they are the person that they know best, and so who else to create than themselves in the world. These 4 aspects can also put a unique spin on your personality as a character, but it can also be used for players who want to think outside the box for their character's personality. Some things to ask yourself when you are thinking of your character's personality and where they are currently in the campaign is to ask yourself why your character is still currently with the party. Are they with the party because they are the only family that they've had in a while? Or are they the only ticket to what they actually want to accomplish? Also ask yourself, what kind of goals does your character have? What do they want to accomplish in the future? These things can be easy as owning their own farm or even overthrowing a corrupt king. The goals that you have may not come up in the future, but you can use them to work towards, to give you motivation to continue the session, to continue the role-playing encounter. Now, when I talk of reactions, I don't mean in combat. I'm talking about how your character would react to NPCs and the situations that they run into. If you're looking to advance your character and make your character more in depth, spend some time outside of the game and outside of the session to create situations and think of how your character would react to them. Put them into abnormal situations that you may not encounter in the game itself and think of how they would react. For example, your party has arrived at a new city, goes into a new tavern, and as they're walking by a drunk dwarf, he harasses one of your party members because of their race. Does your character just stand by idly and doesn't want to get involved, or does your character approach the dwarf and actually maybe start a dispute? A longtime ally betrays you in a pivotal moment in the story. Does your character go into a rage? Do they cry? Do they just ignore it altogether and just sit with a blank face? How does your character react to the situation, and how would that affect them in the future? Now, these reactions can help you develop your character more in the future. Not only think about how they react, but also think about how that situation may affect them. Character development is key for you to actually feel your character and actually become connected to it yourself. In the beginning, is your barbarian just a buff dude that wants to just kill everything? But down the line, is he actually someone who wants to become more intelligent? In the beginning of the game, does your thief just go around and steal gold? When later in the campaign, is he actually doing it to support an orphanage that you guys encountered earlier in the campaign? Take these situations that you thought of and reflect them onto what you and your fellow players have gone through throughout the campaign. Think of how they would affect your character initially, and think of how they affect your character in the long run. Now, using all of what I've talked about in this video to develop your character more will help you feel more connected to your character itself. As you spend more and more time trying to figure out who they are, what they want, and what they're going to do, you will easily be able to roleplay who they are and how they react to situations. Now, that's all I've got for you. This is the first part of the 2 on getting in tune with your character. I will be posting that one in the future. Let me know down in the comments if this has helped you at all. If you're a new character, let me know if there's anything that I can talk about that will help you get more used to the game. Those who are not so new, what else do you want to see me talk about? If you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that would help out a lot. Share the video around. I also have a Twitch, so if you want to come hang out, I play various games. I will be streaming more consistently as the weeks go on, so if you want to stop by, link is in the description. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys, so have a wonderful day and see you on the flip.